Welcome back to the Now Detroit. Just a couple of minutes ago, we talked about the Wayne County possibly forcing taxpayers to cover a $49 million judgment, coming just days after Inkster announced that it would have taxpayers cover the cost of Floyd Dent's settlement.
That's right. Today, the Detroit News took aim at leaders in those communities in a blistering editorial titled, "In Inkster and Wayne County, Bad Leaders Prove Costly." In it, they slammed the commission, saying commissioners are desperately clinging to the denial of the past, believing they can push hard decisions to the future. Time has run out for Wayne County. It has to pay the price for decades of mismanagement.
Joining us now is Ingrid Jacks, the Deputy Editorial Page Director of the Detroit News. So you're saying basically desperate clinging to denial, irresponsible, tough words.
They are tough words, but we felt that it was necessary to just come out and say that it's a hard pill to swallow, but taxpayers are ultimately responsible for the people they put in office. Someone's got to pay for their bad decisions.
Well, obviously it's the taxpayers paying for their bad decisions these days. Is there any way to reverse that trend and let them pay for their own bad decisions?
Unfortunately, the way the system's set up, taxpayers ultimately have to take responsibility. And our stance is, we don't usually support raising taxes at the Detroit News, but this seems to be the most efficient way to get rid of that burden.
One of the commissioners we were just talking to a few minutes ago, was against that and hopes to use the money that they just moved over from the general fund to do that. What is the problem with that way of doing that, Ingrid, in your mind?
Well, as County Executive Warren Evans has said, he advocates this one-time summer tax increase. It just seems the best way to go at this time, because otherwise you're shifting the burden down the road, and Warren Evans is already trying to deal with a $52 million annual structural deficit, and he's worried that taking money out of this revolving fund that helps stabilize local communities is just going to create a credit problem, make it harder for the county to get bonds for its jail project and other things. So it could just push a can down the road, and the county doesn't have time to do that right now.
Yeah, so Ingrid, so the Detroit News is in an unusual move, as you pointed out, is kind of advocating a tax hike on taxpayers. Can you do a companion a move perhaps to get taxpayers to understand they actually do have the power to get these people out of office?
Well, hopefully if they end up having a fairly expensive summer, both in Inkster and Wayne County as a whole, they might pay really close attention to the next election.
You might be right on that one.
Before you go, Ingrid, we just want to ask you, too, what about the people in Inkster who could be getting hit twice also? Is it fair that they really have to pay for the misconduct of a government employee? Because, man, that is a hot-button issue with a whole lot of people in that community, many of which told Action News, I'm just not going to pay the bill if I get it. That's what we were hearing.
Well, you can't really blame them for not being thrilled about this. It would be a pretty significant tax bill for them. It's $1.4 million settlement to Floyd Dent. But the same thing, ultimately, we think they should be responsible for, they elected the city leaders who, in turn elect the police chief. So someone's got to foot the bill.
Yeah, I think we're about one step short of Detroiters throwing tea into the Detroit River. Ingrid, thank you so very much.